Expansions are a tricky thing to get right. At their best, they can elevate a game to new heights, giving you more of what you love. And at their worst, they can be cumbersome, over-bloated, and ruin the streamlined experience you fell in love with. The Sprawlopolis series is an interesting case because there has already been kind of two pseudo-expansions, Naturopolis and Agropolis, but those are standalone games, right? They were kind of developed with the idea of being their own thing. Comboopolis is the first attempt to kind of get some more out of those original 18 card sets by introducing new cards that allow you to mix and match different elements of them. What camp does Comboopolis fall into? Let me give you an overview of how they play, and then I'll tell you what I think. Alright, so to play Comboopolis, at a minimum you're going to need 2 of the existing games. The way you set up and play is going to be the same regardless of the 2 you mix. It's just going to be the elements and the scoring conditions you use are going to be a little different. So for this example, let's go ahead and use Sprawl and Nature, and we'll put Agropolis off to the side. This is the new package here combining Combopolis 1, 2, and 3. So these existed, or at least Combopolis 1 existed to mix Sprawl and Agropolis, and that was kind of an individual 6-card pack. And so this has been expanded a bit to include Naturopolis and allow you to play 1 and 2, 1 and 3, and 2 and 3. So it's going to have a little instruction booklet here that just kind of gives you the names of the different scoring conditions for each Combopolis, as well as the kind of setup and scoring. And really it's pretty much not too different from your basic game of Sprawlopolis. If you don't know how to play that, check out my Naturopolis video I released previously. I kind of give a general overview of how to play those games. But here in the actual Comboopolis, there is going to be 3 sets of 6 cards, and that is going to be your kind of mini expansions here. So this one you can see has Agropolis and Sprawlopolis. This one has Nature and Agro, and then this one over here has Sprawlopolis and Naturopolis, which is what we're going to be using in this example here. On the back of all these cards are new scoring conditions that are going to mix and match the different elements. And you can see there's also the feed conditions here for all you hardcore Agropolis players. They have you covered. On the actual cards that come in Combopolis are going to be, again, 6 new scoring conditions, depending on the sets you're mixing and matching. And on the other side of them, you're going to see that there's 4 different elements, 2 from each set. And so when you're setting up the game, it's pretty simple. You're just going to take one of these cards at random, and this is going to be one of your 3 scoring cards. Let's go ahead and take an example of this one. So you could see this one is 2 points for each residential block adjacent to an odd number of Naturopolis blocks, Forest Lake Meadow Mountain blocks. So you can see all of these are going to somehow interact with the 2 different sets, and it's a really cool mixing and matching. They're all very interesting. I like all the scoring conditions regardless of which sets you're matching. I think they did a good job at each of the different scoring conditions. The other card you're going to use from this set is going to be your starting tile. So you kind of just shuffle these up, and this is going to be your starting one. The other 4 are actually put away and not used for the game. So out of those 6, you're only ever using 2 of them if you're playing a Comboopolis game. The rest of the cards are going to come from your base games. So let's take Sprawlopolis here, and we're going to take this up, shuffle these, and again, like a normal game, you take one out, and that's your second scoring card. And actually, what you're going to use is this deck is one of the 2 decks you're going to play with. So we'll put this off to the side for now, and then we'll take our Naturopolis cards, shuffle them up, and we're going to take one of those to be our 3rd scoring condition. So same as a normal game of Sprawlopolis, you're going to have 3 different scoring cards, 1 from the combo, 1 from the 2 base games. And then you're going to have 2 decks that you're playing out of. So the actual placement conditions are going to be the same with the respective sets. So again, you can't do any diagonal stuff, but you can overlap however you wish. Quick note, if you're familiar with Naturopolis, the roads are not -2 points even if you are playing with this set, so you are free to have a little more freedom with the roads. On your turn, you're going to take 2 of these cards, so 1 from each set. You're going to place 1 of them, and you're going to discard the other one. So you're taking 2, placing 1, discarding the other, and you're going to keep drawing 2, placing 1 until you get to the end of the game. So really, the actual gameplay is quite simple compared to your regular game of Sprawlopolis, Naturopolis, or Agropolis. Really the new challenge is coming from these new scoring conditions, and also just the interesting interactions that happen when you mix these different sets. So that is just a quick overview of how the actual Comboopolis works. So you can see here it does show you the different scoring conditions, and on the back here it goes over that setup, but what I just showed you is pretty much all you're doing. You can see here it clarifies each of the scoring conditions, and you can see here not 2 points as in Naturopolis. It does a good job kind of clarifying any questions you might have if you are mixing and matching the sets. I think it's a pretty well put together expansion package. One other interesting way to play a combined game of all the Opolises is the also newly released Ultimate Opolis. And this is going to share a lot of similarities with the combo games, except you are going to be mixing all 3 of the games. So you can see here the setup is very similar, except now you're actually going to have 4 different scoring cards, and you're going to be playing with 3 of each of the decks. So if I remember how I showed you in Comboopolis, where you're drawing 1 from each of the decks, now you're drawing 1 from each of the decks, except there's 3 of them. So you have 1 of 3 options. I didn't come close when I was playing this to coming to a good score, because when you have 4 of those scoring cards, it gets really, really tricky. You can see here now there are new scoring conditions that mix and match all 3 elements. And these are really, really fun to play with. Very difficult, but also a lot of fun to mix and match. So if you already have all 3 of the games, I think this is a nice addition to the Comboopolis package, so that you can even have more new ways to mix and match all of those cards. So very similar to the Comboopolis, except adding one more kind of layer of complexity onto it, but also a very interesting, fun way to play and mix and match. Real quick, if you guys are enjoying the video, remember to like and subscribe. It helps the video get that much more visibility, and I love to hear from you guys in the comments what you think about the game that I'm talking about. On that Naturopolis video, there was a lot of folks who were excited and are big fans of the Opolis series, and it's really cool to hear from folks who are also fans of games that I love. After having a chance to play a couple different combinations of Comboopolis a few times, I'm happy to say that this is my new favorite way to play the Opolis series. And there's really 2 main reasons. The first is the mixing and matching of scoring conditions. Taking 1 card from the combo game and then 1 card from the individual games creates a really dynamic and fun way to score. One issue that you can have in a lot of the Opolis games is that you have different scoring cards that almost like contradict each other. And I found that when you have the kind of wide spread of scoring cards coming from different games, I ran into that much less, and I found it almost more intuitive to try to get to those different scoring conditions without stepping on the toes of other scoring cards. And I just really found that to make it much more just fun and engaging to play and place these cards, and it felt like I was making a lot of cool, clever moves matching these cards. The second one, and this almost sounds contradictory to what my first point with the different scoring cards, is that I found this a lot easier to play and a bit almost simpler and less kind of headache-inducing than a lot of the other Opolis games can be. And that comes primarily from playing out of the 2 decks, right? You're going to be playing out of 1 and 2, and you're going to be drawing 1 of those cards from each of the decks and placing 1 of them. You don't have that selection of 3 cards in front of you that can lead to a lot of that choice paralysis of placing 1 of those cards. And I found that just having 2 to pick from didn't make me feel like I was trying to match every single 1 of the 3 cards in every combination. It felt very smooth. And I think part of that also comes from being able to take the best cards of each of those sets. You have a lot of different bending roads that you have access to, right, from each of the decks. And I just really, really enjoyed it. I think the combination, all these individual elements, the campsites from Naturopolis, the animal pens from Agropolis, and just the basic classic 4 colors from Sprawlopolis, they just come together when they're mix and match just beautifully. And it created just the most fun I had playing an Opolis game. And I would highly suggest, even if you just have 2 of them, I think one of the Comboopolis games more than worth it to play with and mix and match. But it honestly, I know I have kind of been a little disparaging towards Agropolis because it is so challenging, and I find that While I don't like Agropolis by itself, I love it mixed and matched with the other games. At the end there, I also showed you Ultimatopolis, and I will say that skews to the Agropolis side of things, where it is very, very challenging, and primarily due to the fact that you are introducing a new scoring card. So instead of trying to get to the total score of 3 cards, now you're trying to get to the total score of 4 cards. And yes, you are able to take the best cards of 3 different sets, but it is very, very challenging. If you're looking for the kind of most difficult, I think, Opolis experience, Ultimatopolis is a good addition. So I am happy to say that Comboopolis falls into the camp of expansions that are just additive. It makes these games more than the sum of their parts. And it has become, honestly, maybe my favorite button-shy game is this Comboopolis. It is just really, really fun, really engaging, and if you're a fan of the series, I would highly suggest it. I would still say maybe get one by itself. I don't think if you don't like the series at all, I don't think this is going to change enough that you're going to love it, but if you are a fan of it, I think it's a great, great choice. So let me know, what combination do you think would be the best that you would look forward to? And also, is it Combopolis? Combopolis? I always thought it was Sprawlopolis, Comboopolis. That just felt like the right way to say it. But let me know if my pronunciation has been grating on your ears the entire video. So that is my quick kind of thoughts and overview of Comboopolis. If you're a fan of the series, definitely check it out. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you on the next video. Thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, consider giving it a thumbs up and subscribing for more videos like this. I also have a Twitter and Instagram where I post thoughts and photos of games I'm playing throughout the week, and I hope to see you there. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next time.